the class starts now. I'm gonna stop recording. Okay, so this is our second class for Unit 3, which is about drama, the play, and we got an idea about Shakespeare. You definitely understand now that you will be reading a play by Shakespeare. I tried to get you something light, so it's not going to be a tragedy or a heavy play, just like Macbeth or Hamlet. So we're going to move to something that is lighter. But before we do that, we need to communicate certain terminologies and important glossary for the drama, because as you know, in the exam, you will be asked to identify some terms and apply it to the drama that you are studying. So can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, so we're going to talk about the most important glossary or terminology that is found. So first of all, we have the word protagonist. So protagonist is the main character of any literary work like Hamlet, Othello, in any play named after them, or even without being named after the main character. Like even the short stories you just studied, you have the protagonist, meaning the main character. Usually the main character is the character that is meant for us to sympathize with, either to be on their side or to understand their weakness, or to get the same feelings as they are, or the writer wants you to be supporting the main character. So not necessarily protagonist is a good character, not necessarily, but it is all about the main character. You could read a story or a drama or a play about a villain, somebody who is evil, but this evil person is always the protagonist, the main character. Right, the opposite of protagonist is the antagonist, coming from the word anti, which is against. So antagonist is the character or the force against which another character struggles. Like if you have good and evil, or if you have the rich and the poor, or you have the husband and maybe the ex-boyfriend of the main character. So this is all about one against the other. It could be a character, or it could be some kind of force. It could be kind of, imaginary character, or it could be witch, like Macbeth. We have three witches, meaning the ladies who can create a magic, and they can change the fate of things, and they can do strange things. So the antagonist, these two words are opposite to each other. Now, we have the word aside. Look at this word, aside, meaning it's the word spoken by an actor directly to the audience. Now, because on a play or on a theater, you cannot have the sound effects, or you could not have the flashback or the cinema. Of course, I'm talking about the time of Shakespeare. Nowadays, we do have all of this, even on theater. But it is meant for the actor to tell you as audience something that he or she is thinking about. It is which are not heard by the other characters on stage during a play. So imagine there is a scene when you have the main character is, or some of the any of the characters is talking to you as audience, and the rest of the actors on the theater pretend that they don't hear that. You have also catastrophe, which is the action at the end of a tragedy. that initiates the denouncement of or falling action of a play. Towards, remember, in the novel used to say resolution. Okay, so similar expression for the play or for the drama, it is called the catastrophe. It's the falling action of the play towards the end of the play. For example, is the Duluing scene of Act 5 of Hamlet, in which Hamlet dies along with the Laertes, King Claudius, and Queen Gertrude. I don't know if you read, yeah, you haven't read anything about Shakespeare. Maybe when we finish our units, like the course, I can show you a film or something related to Hamlet, because it's really, really one of the most important works, Hamlet and Macbeth in particular. They are really great works by Shakespeare. All right, so we have the word comedy, and many people believe that comedy is like the ha-ha thing, like a joke, but not necessarily, because a comedy meaning happy ending. So let's see, it's a type of drama in which the characters experience reverse of fortune, usually for the better. It's always ending in a nice way or ending in a happy way. In a comedy, things work out happily in the end. So comic drama may be either romantic, characterized by a tone of tolerance and geniality, or satiric. So the word comedy can be referred to a work that is romantic. So we have the term romance, of course, and we have the term romantic. But again, when we say like Cinderella, for example, Cinderella is called a comedy. Of course, it's a fairy tale, but look at the ending. How did it end? It ended happily. So in that sense, we call it a comedy. We call it romantic. Okay. Satiric works, satiric when you have humor and when you are bitterly making the audience laugh. However, it's kind of dark comedy, black comedy. They are laughing, but from inside, there is something that is painful, right? So it is the work that offers a darker vision of human nature, one that ridicules human folly. So usually they depict or they picture a certain weakness in the human behavior, the conduct in general, and they use it as being sarcastic. Usually we do it for stingy people. Do you know what's the meaning of stingy? Meaning the people who do not want to spend money. They love money so much, and when you visit them, they hide the food, they hide the whatever thing. So usually the satire is always working well on stingy people, and you will just laugh at the scenes, but from inside it is something painful. A great play is for Bernard Shaw. It's called Arms and the Man, and I would like also to let you watch it, because Bernard Shaw is known for romantic and comedy writing. Again, the satiric, which is funny, make you laugh, but from deep inside, it has depth, and it might cause pain. Okay, we have also the terminology comic relief, which is the use of comic scene to interrupt a succession of intensely tragic, dramatic moments. So you could notice that in most of the tragedies and most of the heavy works, you will see that one scene after the other are really tiring, painful, scary, and then they give you something comedy, something funny in the middle, just to cause relief, comic relief, to lessen to interrupt the heavy scenes that you can see, or even if you are reading. By the way, this technique is also used in the horror movies. If you are a fan of watching horror movies, it's all about this thing, which is you watch the events or the scary scenes, and then they shift to people in the kitchen or something for fun or anything. So it's the similar technique that is being used even in cinema making. All right, now we have the word conflict. So you will see me giving you in questions about the conflict, inner conflict, outer conflict, and talk about the different type of conflicts here. So conflict is the struggle between opposing forces in a story or a play, usually resolved by the end of the work. Look at that. So the conflict, if you remember the old dead man, the path, if you remember the conflict between the priest and Obi, remember the conflict? It was external conflict between two people or two opposing sides, okay? And it also could be within the same character, like to do it or not to do it. And the famous soliloquy by Shakespeare from Hamlet, which is to be or not to be, that is the question. So it reflects the conflict inside the same character. We call it inner conflict. So pay attention to this inner conflict and the out conflict between two forces. We could also come through the expression of convention. A convention is a customary feature of a literary work, such as the use of chorus in Greek tragedy, the inclusion of an explicit moral in a fable. Fable is another type of drama. We'll talk about it in a minute. Or the use of a particular rhyme scheme in a villanelle. Literary conventions are defining features of a particular literary genre, such as a novel, short story, ballad, sonnet, and play. In short, the convention is the style of writing. Now, if you are writing, or if you are composing a poem, definitely your style of writing, the convention that you use is absolutely different from writing an essay, is absolutely different from writing a short story or a novel. So this is what we call the convention, the style of writing. Okay, and you will see me when I do the rubric pasting the rubric for you in every work for you to see that the convention also includes your communication, the way you communicate, the written communication, the use of functions, the use of punctuation, capital letters, exclamation mark, full stops, commas, semicolons. All of these are important to reflect your ideas, whether you are reading them for an author or for yourself as a person who writes. Okay, now let's move on to a dialogue. What is a dialogue? So a dialogue is a conversation between the characters in any literary work. In fiction, the dialogue is typically enclosed within quotation marks. So this is how you find it, between quotation marks. In plays, characters' speech is preceded by their names. So you will see the name of the character, let's say Hamlet, two dots, and the talk. Discours, we call it the discours. So it means this is a dialogue. This character is saying those words. So it is important for you when you are analyzing a scene or a quotation, as you will see in the coming classes, when you are analyzing a quotation or something, you need to know who says those lines. And he or she said it to who, under what circumstances, and why, and what is the significance of this. Like, if I give you a hint for Macbeth, for example, the three witches, the very first scene I showed you last time, the three witches are saying ominous warning. So those words are going to be ominous. This is omen, meaning significance. There is a sign. So it's important for you to say the character so and so said this word so and so, which will later on will be reflected in the problem of so and so. So in this way, you show me that you are taking care of the dialogue that gives you a significant and that refers to some of the rising actions or the climax, or maybe even the words refer to resolving the issue towards the end of the literary work. All right, so we have also the word soliloquy. Soliloquy is really important to know because this is going to increase your vocabulary and make you able to understand the type of questions. So the soliloquy, and I want you, when you are answering questions, use those terminology. The more you use those terminology in your answer, it reflects that you paid attention and you are able to use the high class of diction or words. So you could say this soliloquy. What soliloquy mean? It's a speech in a play that is meant to be heard by the audience, but not by the other characters on the stage. Please see the difference. See the difference. Okay, you have here the aside. Look at that. Aside is different from soliloquy because the aside is the main character, or the character is talking to you, and the other characters are not hearing what you said. The soliloquy is also similar to this. However, the audience, not other characters can hear it, but again, it is meant to be something inside the head of the character. It's as if the character is thinking in a loud voice. This one is the character speaking to the audience, or as if speaking to themselves. Sometimes when you are like, if you are reviewing something, if you went shopping and you talk to yourself and you say, I shouldn't forget what else I should get. Okay, the milk and the egg. All right. So you say it out loud to yourself to remind yourself. Anybody can hear it. It's fine. But sometimes when you keep it to your thinking, you just think about it and you do not speak about it. How do we know? How we as audience, we know? We know it when they speak this way as soliloquy. So we could tell that this is a soliloquy if there are no other characters present. So you will see no characters around on the stage. Here you have some characters around, and you know that the main character or the person who is speaking wants to, like gossip. You remember when you are gossiping or something, you don't want anybody to hear. But in a soliloquy, the actor is alone on the stage talking to you. It could be because this is how they think inside their head, or because the writer wants you to know what they are thinking about. No characters will be around on the stage. So see the difference? Because many students just mix up the aside and the soliloquy. Pay attention to that. And the famous one, of course, is to be or not to be, from Hamlet, when he was hesitant to revenge or not to revenge. Okay. Okay, so maybe you heard me so many times saying the diction. So the word diction is a more sophisticated word than just how the writer choose his words. So diction is the selection of words in a literary work. The work's diction forms one of its centrally important literary elements. As writers use words to convey action, look at that, why it is important. And this is also you need to comment on when you have the when you have a question to ask you to analyze a scene or to comment on a scene. You need to talk about the diction and the choice of words. just a minute. Are you seeing my screen?
Yes.
Okay. I don't know why I got a notification here. It's okay. All right. So the words, the choice of words of the writer or the author gives you a clue, or I want you to write from the choice of the writer's words a clue related to some action or to reveal something about the character. You can say, for example, this character is an evil character. The proof is the choice of words or the diction of, you start naming them. The writer used 1, 2, 3 words that reveal how dark this character is from inside, or the words to imply attitudes. Again, if the character is like, is stingy or evil or violent or any of those, you can tell me about the character from the diction of the writer. And also suggest the values. You could tell that the character cares for something or doesn't care for something, neglects something, is more into something, or he doesn't pay attention to something. All of that could be revealed from the choice of words. We can speak of the diction particular to a character, as in Iago's and Desdemona's very different ways of speaking in Othello, and another great play by Shakespeare called Othello. You see the difference because Desdemona was very well educated, and she used to be well read and so on, whereas Iago was from the common people, and he wasn't sophisticated. He is not educated. He never been to schools, so you could tell the difference through the dialogue by each of them. We can also refer to a poet's diction as represented over the body of his or her work, as in John's. Okay, this one you didn't have to know about. Anyway, okay, now let's talk about the dramatic monologue. Dramatic monologue. It's a type of poem in which a speaker addresses a silent listener. As readers, we overhear the speaker in a dramatic monologue. It's like when you are talking about yourself, you are expressing something, you are talking about something that you suffer from, and you want to share it in your dramatic monologue. You speak alone, on all yourself alone, and you start talking about a certain topic or a certain issue, and it is done in a dramatic way. Like, you notice this always happens when there is a nervous breakdown, or after one character gets hurt, or after one character is badly losing their mind. All that can be shown in the performance of dramatic monologue. And look at the word mono. Mono meaning only one. Dialogue, it's two people. Monologue is one character talking, is from mono and dia. Of course, the prefix, these words taken from the Latin language. Of course, that the Latin is the origin of all languages, all the Western language, or the origin of French, origin of Greek, German, English, and French, Spanish too. Okay, so I will stop the